I don't know why,
Right.
but that's just the painful truth of my experience. Again, I think the healthiest thing for me to do would be to accept that there's no relationship there. That way I'm not always trying to, well, I can make it happen if I do X.
And I'm catching feelings, baby.
What's up, beautiful people? It's Hershe Sundae, and I'm back with the scoop after dark. How are you? How are you? How are you really? Well, I hope that you're doing well. And whether you're scrolling through the help wanted ads, updating that resume to step into something better, meal prepping for the week, getting them crunches in at the gym, or just taking a moment to breathe after a stressful day, I want you to know that you are welcomed here, you are safe here, and I'm happy to have you. Now, listen, it is still Women's History Month, and I've been very intentional about using my platform to elevate the voices of women. Real stories, real experiences, real perspectives. I want us to hear each other, to learn from each other, and to feel seen in spaces where we may feel overlooked. And tonight's conversation, this one right here, is personal. It's heavy, but it's very, very necessary. Tonight we have a special guest, Ms. Bernadette Evans, creator of the Caregiver Collaborative. Okay. And I was drawn to her story because, as someone who has worked in healthcare and has been connected to caregiving in many different ways, both professionally and personally, this hit close to home for me. Caregiving is one of those roles that people don't fully understand unless you've lived it. The sacrifice, the emotional toll, the love, the exhaustion, all of it. And Bernadette's journey is one that deserves to be heard, not just for awareness, but for healing, for validation, and for truth. So, Scoots, we got company. Okay, so y'all behave and act right. All right, don't embarrass me. I need y'all to come on in, get comfortable, grab you something nice to sip on, and settle in for this conversation. Let's all welcome Miss Bernadette Evans. How are you, Miss Bernadette?
Doing good. Thank you very much. And thank you for having me.
I am so very grateful to have you here. And I want to thank you for sharing your story with us. I already know that there's some things that haven't been easy. So I appreciate you trusting me and trusting my audience with something so intimate and real. So we can just go ahead and Tootsie Roll and get this started. We'll start with your background. Who is Bernadette Evans outside of caregiving? Like, before all of this, who are you?
Okay, well, before all this, I was a community activist in Wilmington, Delaware, raising my two beautiful children, Maheen and Aja. I was married at the time and very involved. I was that person who really liked to help people in my community. And I figured the best way to ensure that my kids were safe and had a good environment was to be as involved in the community and help make sure the other kids were safe too. So I served on civic association, was involved with the local politics, connecting with police, very involved with community policing, trying to improve relationships between law enforcement and our kids. Helped my daughter at the time develop a basketball league for at-risk youth, and was just trying to hold
Had
my
your
life
hands
together.
in many pots, girl. I love it. I love it. I
Yeah,
love that. Very
yeah.
active in your community. That is so
Very,
necessary.
yes. And I loved it. And then it was time to go. My daughter grew up, went on to college. My son was in high school. And that my relationship with my kids, great. Marriage, not so much, but that is how life goes.
Mm-hmm.
And I was really in need of starting looking for a second career of my own because community activism does not come with a retirement plan.
Mm-hmm.
So I had to start looking for a career, and it was time. I had done things for my neighbors, I had done things for my kids, and I was ready for the next chapter of kind of doing some things for me. But life be life, and so when you make
All the
plans,
time.
so as was getting ready to usher off the last child to college and start life of my own, I had to become the caregiver to my parents. But I had a pretty good, decent thing going on for myself
No,
before
I
that
see.
started.
And that kind of ties into the next question that I have for you. When did caregiving officially become your responsibility? And was it something that was discussed, or did it kind of just fall upon you?
It fell upon me, and I think it does for so many people. I mean, we kind of know somewhere out there our parents are going to get older, things are going to
Mm-hmm.
change, but there's you don't get a notice in the mail saying today is the day, right?
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
So what happened for me was I noticed my mom was starting to do some things like some circular talk. There were some things that were concerning, but it was when she got lost driving to the hairdresser,
Oh, wow.
and I was in Delaware and my dad was in Ohio, freaking out, of course. So I'm 8 hours away. How am I going to find my mom who's lost somewhere in the city of Cleveland?
Mm-hmm.
And thankfully, it turned out she did make her way home, but for the time that she was away, it was terrifying,
Yeah.
and it was like I was drafted at that moment into the caregiving role. So it was it
How
was
long? Not to cut you off, but how
Mhm.
long was it when she was essentially lost until the time that she returned? How? What was the span of time?
She was missing for about 40 minutes. She was supposed
Okay.
to be at her hairdresser,
Okay.
and she's very meticulous about time. We're all very
Mm-hmm.
timely.
Mm-hmm.
So if we're supposed to be somewhere at 5 and we're not there by 5:01, send the cops because something has happened.
Happened. Yeah.
The hairdresser had called, said, Mrs. Evans, she has not shown up. My dad called me, and it was a good 40 minutes, which, is not a long time, but when
It's a
you're
long
thinking
time
about,
when someone's missing.
but it's a long time when
Mm-hmm.
someone is missing. When you
Yeah.
think that was there an accident? How do I find her? I'm in a whole other city. How do
Mm-hmm.
I even begin to start to locate her? So it was the longest, scariest 40 minutes of my time. At that point, I had to make the decision to um, go home because there was nothing I could do from 8 hours away, and I
Mm-hmm.
did not want to have that experience again. And plus, it was sending my dad's pressure
Mm-hmm.
through the roof at the time. So then, it was just stress all the way around. But that was it. That was the moment I was drafted into the caregiving role.
Okay. Okay.
Mm.
And before your parents needed care, what was the relationship like prior, especially with your mom? To be candid, I do follow your story and you talk about the relationship between the parents. Was it a complicated one prior to her health declining, or did it shift afterwards?
My relationship with my mom and both my parents was always a complicated and difficult one. And I was that kid at 14, I was like counting down,
Mm-hmm.
getting out of
Mm-hmm.
this house,
You originally
18.
from Ohio?
Yes.
Midwest? Okay. Hey, Midwest.
That's right. That's
I'm from
right.
Chicago originally, so
Okay.
cool.
Yeah. Okay. I like neighbors.
All right.
And no, so I was ready to go. 18, I was out, and I would say distance and time I thought seemed to improve the relationship because it was a contentious one. I mean,
Mm,
button heads, battling, um, and so I did not get along with them, and
mhm,
less so. I think my dad at the time I was a teenager. It was a little better with my mom. Then it kind
mhm,
of flipped later. But so no, my relationship with my folks had always been bad per se. But I was on the East Coast, so time and distance kind of smooths things out.
mhm,
And in some ways, it kind of cloaked the complications of the relationship because the dynamics did not alter. The only thing that changed was my address
mhm,
until I went back home. And then it was like walking right back into that situation. It was like the fight I left off with them at 18.
we'll still
We
have it.
we we just picked up right
Mhm, mhm,
in mid sentence and continued forward. So no, it's a very contentious relationship, very difficult, and it just a lot of stress and distress. in that relationship. And that's for me what made caregiving difficult, because I'm coming from the viewpoint of, these are my parents and they need my help. And of course I want to help because I love them, and, I want to help do what's best for them. And I'm an older person now, so I can have appreciation, a level of appreciation for the things that they did to me, as a younger person that I didn't always see as a kid, so it's growth in there. But it was tumultuous. It's been a tumultuous decade. And people say, well, do you think your mom's disease or dementia, did you have anything to do with it? No, her personality never changed. It's never that never got affected.
Consistent. It's been consistent. I get you.
Consistency, on that. So yeah, so it has always been a difficult one, and caregiving under those circumstances is not been easy at all.
I can imagine. I definitely can. I want to talk about you for a second. How did all of that impact your mental health and your emotional health over the years? 10 years is a long time.
10 years is a very long time. It's crazy because some things you don't see until you can kind of step out of it a bit. But one of the things in the first 10 years, when I first went back home, I felt like in many ways I went back to my 14-year-old self, because I was back in my same home, in my same town, in my same bedroom as a kid. And my folks, even though I have gotten married, had children, my own homeowner, went to school, my parents were still seeing the 14-year-old and treated me that way and spoke to me that way and felt that, I'm still that child that needs to just be seen and not heard. And respect is one way. It should be me up to them, that kind of thing. And I was not really getting it for a minute, that look, these folks are not treating me like an adult. And I, in some ways, at first, I was still responding like that 14-year-old, kind of shrinking back. Even my voice would change a bit, kind of almost reverting back a little bit higher to like kid voice and responding. And I wasn't realizing how I had really stepped back into that. And my mental health really did take a hit, because they really did treat me with the very much those same dynamics. And I will always say that my mom had 5 forms of communication for me: command, critique, complaint, public humiliation, and silent treatment. Never conversation. And I didn't identify that as first. I see it now, but in the early stages, I didn't really see that, every word was sharp, or it was a critique, or everything I was doing was wrong, not right, or just constantly the pick. And that, it wore me out, caused me fatigue, caused me depression, caused me, upset, resentment, distress. And at the same time, because I'm also still coming from, in the early days, that point of, you're supposed to respect your parents. So I was not one to really stand up for myself, I guess. And I had friends who said, you gotta I get that your parents, you gotta break that. You gotta puff up, or
it's so hard to do. I think it's a lot easier said than done. But I think people have to remember, these are your first teachers, right? So they're training you and teaching you how to treat them and what to accept from them. And the dynamic of, I'm your parent, I'm here, you're here. It still takes effect of you, even if you're a grown woman, established woman, a mother yourself, a wife at the time, an activist in your community. Those parental ties are so strong. It's hard to step out of that into this, okay, now look, until eventually reach your breaking point. Which the next question, and it kind of ties into that. If you can describe a moment where you realized, okay, this is going on, I'm not okay, I don't know if it, maybe they said something, did something, there was an event, but where you said, I'm not okay. And what did that look like for you?
I think there was really a moment where I had clarity that my mom was very clear about how she was treating me. So, you're hoping the person will, if you explain, maybe they'll understand or back off or whatever. But there was an incident where my mom was, again, using the public humiliation. I had a relative in the car and she was talking about my car and I need to do something, and she was on and on and on. And we were getting ready to get out of the car, and my mom had to give me one more shot. I'm telling you right now, you got to do something and I said, you know what? You need to stop. You need to stop. But I know you won't, because the only thing you know how to do is criticize me and chastise. You can't say a kind word about me. You cannot stop being mean or abusive towards me, but you need to. And she said, I can't and I won't, with her full chest. And I said, well, then you know what? You need to perhaps get somebody else to help you, because you only treat me like this. You don't treat anybody else like this. So I know you're capable of doing it, but with me, you just made the decision that you will not. And it was such a defining moment for me that my mom is consciously choosing, and the fact that she verbally declared that being mean and abusive toward me is her standing operating procedure. And it was very breaking, because this is the person who gave birth to me. But this is how she has basically confessed that this is how she's been treating me, will continue to, and that is the truth that she is willing to stand in. And that is very it was very hard. It is very hard. It was the moment where my heart really closed off and hardened. And it's like, okay, we're really done. We are really do not have a mother-daughter connection. And yet, I still looked out for her and my dad. That was a couple years ago that happened. That particular moment happened.
So in this, I don't even have this written down, but this just popped in my head because you mentioned that you do have a daughter yourself, right?
Mm-hmm. I do. Daughter and son.
How does that affect your relationship with your own children, primarily your own daughter? Because I could imagine that you are doing everything in your power to not have the dynamic that you've had with your own mother. It's tearing me up, because I'm like, why would you say something like that to somebody? No disrespect. How is the dynamic with your children and yourself, knowing that is how your own mother felt about you?
Well, I think that's where the grace of things come in. My children, they are my healing stones. This is where I know my mom treats me the way she does because her mom treated her that way. I know this is a generational curse. My mom was number 3 of 6 kids. So she was the shit starter in the family. And the one that caused a lot of mayhem, and her mother took out whatever issue she had on her. My mom couldn't get her, so she could get me. Moving forward, I had a wonderful daughter, and I was just determined. I was determined to be the parent to her that I wanted my mother to be to me. And that's what I acted out of. I wanted to be the one who listens. My mom never listened to me. So from the time my kids were babies, I said, no matter what you have to say to me, you can tell me. I'll stop what I'm doing. You got something to say? I'm here to hear it. And just, so I really overcorrected or tried to be as corrected and connected to my daughter. And my daughter and my son both, they have healed my heart. They really have. I don't have that bitterness. I don't have that. Well, I have some resentment. I ain't gonna lie. But I don't have to carry that animus hurt. And I don't feel like I have to, get somebody back. I don't have to, punch down, because I was punched down on. And my relationship with my daughter is fantastic. And even on my profile, there's videos of us in our recent travels together. She's my buddy. She's my travel partner, and she's also sometimes my wise counsel. She has, when we were in PR, she had to sit down and get with me and talk a little bit about my attitude and some things I might need to. And I couldn't hear that from everybody, but I can hear that from her. And she did ask me this very important thing. She said, "Is there anything you want to say to your mom? Is there anything you want? Is there anything you think you can do to heal the divide?" I said, "Baby, you are the healing of that divide. You have healed everything. So many wounds in me have closed up. So no, there's nothing. There's not that. So there's nothing for me and my mom. That relationship is over. It is done because it was never a mother and daughter relationship. It wasn't. My mom was my first bully. She's trying to be my last bully too. So it really, I feel very blessed. I feel very grateful. I have a wonderful relationship with both children. My son is like my play pal and stuff at times. So I feel nothing but joy and love and everything. And I couldn't imagine ever having the dynamic with them that I have with my mom.
How was the dynamic between them and your mom as far as those being her grandchildren?
They're respectful. They're
Mm-hmm.
respectful to her. They always were, and very, my both my kids are very loving, especially my daughter's always
Mm-hmm.
been very loving. And in fact, my daughter, when this caregiving journey started, she was at Kent State,
Mm-hmm.
and I couldn't always be in. I wasn't in Cleveland right away. And my daughter, while she was a freshman or sophomore in college, would spend 1 weekend a month at her grandmother's to
Okay.
look after them for me. And when my father passed last month and went on
Mm-hmm.
hospice, she was the head nurse. She knew the medication, she knew the time schedule. She was there making sure that he got what he needed and everything. So they're very loving towards their grandparents, but they understand that this dynamic is really tough for me. So they're respectful, but they're also like, yeah, I know you need a
Mm-hmm.
break from those
Mm-hmm.
people.
I get it. Trust me, I understand. I
Hmm.
want to circle back to the family dynamics. Do you have siblings?
I have a brother, yes,
You
one
do?
brother.
Okay. I didn't know for sure. Did he or any other family members, did you have any help with, with your parents? Did they help? What could they have done to help carry the weight? Or do you feel like everything completely fell on you?
It fell on me, and one of the things about caregiving is that it reveals relationship dynamics and
Mm-hmm.
fault lines, and that you didn't know were there. It's just
Mm-hmm.
me and my brother. And
Mm-hmm.
when this issue came up with my folks, I just thought, hey, we're going to be in this together. These are your parents, my parents, and we're going to help them out. He lived 45 minutes from them. I lived 8 hours away. He could not find the time to go up at the beginning because he spent the first 3 years in denial. The way he dealt with it is, this is just not happening. It's not happening. So I couldn't get him to come on board. I couldn't get him because he was like, I'll just pretend it's not there and it won't be there. So, and what a privilege that someone can pretend,
Wow.
but I didn't have that privilege,
Mm-hmm.
because again, I'm having issues with my mom getting lost or things like that. I'm concerned that might leave something on the stove, that kind of thing.
Mm-hmm.
So I spent the first 3 years kind of commuting from Delaware to Ohio, and it did fall on me. I moved in, I upended my life. I sacrificed the last 3 years of my son's high school education to move away and leave him behind. That was torturous to do that, but it had to be done. My brother was just not going to participate until he was ready. And he was ready about 3 years ago. He started stepping up the plate. So more. So it
Mm-hmm.
was me. He is doing better now. He is more involved. He is helping more. But in them 7 years, I was the majority.
What did that conversation look like when when you're trying to tell him? hey, mom and dad need the both of us, and he's in denial? Was it just a share, I'm not picking up the phone, or hey, maybe you're over exaggerating, they ain't that bad, they just a little bit older? And what was the conversation like when he finally light bulb moment and said, okay, this is what's happening, let me help? That conversation 3 years ago.
Well, it was really that. No, it's not so much of a conversation. Is that I couldn't rely on it. It's like,
Mm-hmm.
yo, hey man, could you go and he's 45 minutes away. I said, could you make a commitment to go see the folks at least twice a month? And then I said, hey, have you got a chance to see folks? Nah, I was busy. Nah, or I was trying to have a meeting with the social worker so we could all sit down and it's like, hey, we got that meeting to something came up. So it's not a conversation, it's the avoidance. It's the, it slipped my mind. It's the finding ways not to participate or saying, hey, I really need you to do X on Friday. Okay, yeah. And then Friday come, I forgot. So after a while, you're like, you know what?
Yeah, I'll just do it.
I just do it. Because
Mm-hmm.
I can't rely. Your position is I can't rely on you for whatever reason right now. And I've had I even said, look, our parents really need us right now. We got to be in the game. Can you do? Okay, yeah, yeah. And then nothing. But the conversation that really got it was we were on vacation together, and this was about 3 years ago, and we were in the Smoky Mountains. And I told him, said, look, I'm going to snap. I can't do this anymore. I have to have help.
Mm-hmm.
I can't. This is too much. I'm at my breaking point. You got to come on board, and you got to get involved. There's a point where you almost got to like
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
snatch folk up.
Yeah, you got
You
to
know,
hem them up and let them know it's like that. It's real serious right now.
this is real serious. This
Yeah.
is real serious. This is, playtime is over. You've been sitting over here watching me. I have reorganized my whole life, sacrificed time with my kid, all of that. He hasn't even had to take a day off of work. And that happens with us. The caregiver, we make life easier for everybody. The person we're taking care of, and all of our siblings who
Mm-hmm.
never have to go into emergency room at 3 a.m., don't have to call off work, don't have to make that choice about I got the kid today or mom today. They're not giving up money or time or PTO. We're sucking up all of
Mm-hmm.
that.
Especially the girls in the family. I don't know why this is this unannounced underline. Like, yeah, you're going to be the one to do it, but yeah, majority of the time it's going to fall on you, and you're expected to bend and not
Mm-hmm.
break and juggle everything, keep everything in the air, because God forbid you let something fall. You
Exactly,
know.
because then you're the one that's wrong, and
Mm-hmm.
then I will say I'll be going away or something. If you need anything, call your son. Oh, we don't want to bother him. Oh,
Mm-hmm.
well, we don't want to take time away from him. Oh, well, he's too far. Y'all didn't think it was ever too far when I was driving 8 hours.
No. No.
He's 40 minutes. He coming to Cleveland to get dinner. Okay, come see a cab game.
Mm-hmm.
It's not that deep. He can come over to your house. Just, oh no, we just can't. Oh no, we can't bother him. They won't ask him to bring them a glass of water because
No.
oh, his hand might break. Bringing us the glass. So we can't have that. So, but
I get
me,
it. Oh yeah.
have you
You
done
could be
this,
falling
this,
off the
this,
bone. They
that?
don't care.
Right? Have you thatched the roof and painted the barn and milked the cows and got my dinner on the table all in the span of 10 minutes? You know,
Oh, you're not lying.
it's,
You are
it's,
not lying.
you know,
Not God today. You're
that is
not.
it.
Okay,
You
looking back on all of this, right?
Okay.
What should have happened differently when it came to the support? We talked about it, what it looks like in reality. What should have happened, being that it's you and your brother
Mm-hmm.
and your parents needing help? He's 40 minutes away. You were 8 hours away, having to
Mm-hmm.
uproot everything. What should have taken place?
Looking back on it now, and hindsight is always 2020. One of the things is having more of not being afraid to have the hard discussions.
Mhm.
And I think that keeps us away, having, especially if you're not a family who's used to communication, or you're the family who, if there's any issues, we just sweep them under the rug. We're not used to dealing with conflict, real conversations, things that come up. So the default, and you talk about the way we are brought up, that also impacts us. My family we were very engineered towards silence. Anything bad we don't talk about. Our dirty laundry stays in the house. All of that kind of stuff. Something's going on, we don't see it, kind of thing. So I really wish really force the harder discussions and really be very clear about what my part is and what my siblings' part is, because there's two children in this house out of this family, not just one. And I think I would have had a very clear caregiving agreement, of what things I would do, and try, how we could divide this up more. Again, you're dealing that ideally that's more of what would have happened to get the support and everything. What I wanted to do and what the other person is willing to do is two different things. So I could want what I want. I could have had a very line item, let's do this, and this is the plan, and this is the scheme. But if the other party is not willing, my plan don't matter. So I think what should have happened is I should have had way more support earlier coming in with my brother. I shouldn't have had to travel 8 hours when he was right there. But there has to be another willing spirit. And that's it. I was going to say, though, two things that has happened. My brother did get better. Okay, he did improve. Good. So in the past, so I have to give credit where credit is due. He did improve. He did ask the right question. When I finally said, I can't do it, I'm snapping out, he said, what do you need me to do? And then in that moment, my brain kind of
help.
help. But I had to, with clarity. Okay, I need you to bring meals 3 times a week. I need you to do mom's appointments with clarity. And that helps. I think that really will help caregivers if you have a specific task, because people go, well, if you need anything, call me, or something come up. And it's like, hey, mom has to see the dentist every 6 months. That'll be your task. That kind of thing. Something where it's definitive and clear, and sometimes for folk to get on board, finite. Because there are some people who don't do sickness.
Yeah.
They
can't handle it.
They can't. There are some people who, and I found there are members of my family who had spouses that they loved, but let that spouse get sick. Don't do sickness.
Isn't that like I don't know. I think that is mind-boggling. One, because I think by default, even if you're not, you were involved in your community, so you're used to that caretaking, but in a different level. You're used to being of service. Same with myself and a lot of other people. So I guess when I hear things like that, and I hear it a lot and see it a lot, I'm baffled because, well, at what point of life is it that everyone is healthy 100% of the time and there's no unforeseen health issues? Either you're getting older, you're slowing down, or you get sick, or there's an accident tragically or something, to where now you're just like, yeah, no.
Not me, boo.
Yeah. Like, right. It was fun, wasn't it? Oh, well. At what point is it like, because it's selfish, and people can have every excuse in the world. Oh, I just don't do well with it. And yeah, you know what? A lot of health professionals, a lot of caregivers don't do well with it either. Yeah, that's the thing. It's not that I love, seeing people, deteriorate and possibly getting myself sick if it's something, they have the flu or something, or, seeing my loved ones, slow down, break down. It's not, a lot of people, they're doing it because they have a passion to help. Yeah. And they care about either their career or their family. It always baffles me.
I have told my kids, when you're dating somebody, date them in every season, not just in butterflies and the stomach season, but family reunion season, tax season. Do they do them? Flu season.
Heavy on the do they do the taxes.
Do they? Oh, do they? I'm not. I'm serious. Real life. Make sure. I learned the hard way. Tax season. Okay. Credit history season. You know, but and flu season. If you're the person they get sick and you got the soup and the Thermaflu and cold medicine and you taking care of them, but you get sick and they like, oh, I'll see you in 7 days.
Let me know when you're feeling better.
Right.
You ain't the one.
That ain't the one.
No,
That ain't.
You're gonna have to move on forward.
That ain't the one.
No.
Telling you now, best. Yeah,
I agree with you 100%. Okay, so circling back to, and as I mentioned earlier, and my condolences. I know that you recently lost your father.
Thank you.
How has it been processing that specifically?
Well, caregivers really do go through something called anticipatory grief, where we're grieving the person along the way as through the illness. So at every stage, I'm witnessing my parents decline. And so there's another level of loss. There's something. And so you're kind of grieving along the way. So at the point that my dad was on hospice and everything, he was 93 years old. He was also, he was not in the best of shape, and he was starting to suffer more. So at the point that he passed, my grieving had happened. So I didn't feel lost. I didn't miss him. I wasn't upset by his passing. In fact, and because I feel like I had the gift of being there with him all the way through the dying process, up to I was there when he took his last breath, or there. So I was able to release everything, all of that in that moment. So for me, it's been weird. I've said in one post, I feel like an alien because people are sad and they're crying, and I'm not. I'm like, like I'm okay. I'm presenting as okay because I'm just not feeling that sadness and that grief. But I've been doing this. I've had a 10-year runway of grief. So when he took his last breath, it was really just that it was just the finality of it. It was just the very last part of it. So I have not experienced grief like everyone else in the family.
And your relationship with your father, from what I gather from your page, was a little bit better than how it was with your mom, right?
It was a hair bit better.
Okay.
Yes, it was better than with my mom. Still bad, but not as bad as with my mom. And my mom got her care from me because of the compassion I had for him. And my dad, for as contentious as rough as our relationship was in my early days, coming up, my dad was still the one person, if I really needed help, he would help me out. He would, I could go to him and he would do for me. I might get a little, but he was, but still, I knew I could count on him. And I always told him, for pop, I'll pay you back. I'm gonna take care of, and he's kind of like, yeah. And I told him, years ago, there's one of the rare moments he said, I appreciate the fact that you're looking out for me. And I said, Pop, I told you one day I would pay you back for all that you did for me. This is me paying you back. This is the debt. I am repaying the debt by making sure you have the one wish of remaining in your home for as long as you can, and just making sure that you and mom are good. And that meant the world to him. So, but that was the conduit of my service to him and my mom was the feeling of I am giving back for those times and moments where I really felt like my back is up against the wall. My dad's back is up against the wall. I'm going to have his back in this moment the way he had it for me in my moments. He did not make it easy. We still butted heads. I mean, we almost came into physical blows. I mean, all of that. But because, again, my relationship was a hairline better with him than with her, you know, I could do caregiving for him, and she was a recipient benefit because of it, because of what he did for me.
Gotcha. You mentioned something on your platform that I thought was a brave take, and also I understood. And correct me, I'm paraphrasing, but you said something to the effect of, you'll if there comes a time when if your mom passes away, you'll make the decision whether you want to attend the funeral or not, and you're fine with not attending if that's what you decided to do.
Exactly.
I felt like, yeah, that is the that is a very because how you treat people, and again, because this is your mom, I still want to be respectful because you know, but death doesn't erase, in my opinion, the treatment prior. You know, the relationship prior. I can understand if a person says, well, it is what it is, you know, I'll go because, but I can also understand if a person is like, well, you know, what you put out, you get back. And if you're not putting out things that are conducive to a healthy relationship, how can you expect that same, person to show up and commemorate you during your loss just because you passed away? I understood exactly where you were coming from, but if you want to care to elaborate, like I said, I was paraphrasing. I don't want to misquote you, but I thought that was a very balanced take.
Yeah, well, yeah, I appreciate that, and I can, because at the time that my dad passed, I knew that I wanted to eulogize him, and I did, and I spoke at his funeral. I really wanted to give I wanted to tell his story, in his life, at his homegoing celebration. And I said, I think in one of my stories, I said, I know I will not be doing that for my mom. And then I was just saying one step further, it's very likely that I made the decision not to go to her funeral, because I do not have that connection. Our relationship is severed now. We do not have one now. So if I'm not connected to you in life, what is, what is the point of going to the ceremonial ending? And she's not even going to be aware that I'm there.
No. And
anyway.
What do you want me to say?
Yeah, well, yeah. What do you want me to
want
say?
me to say, the truth, or do you want me to just fabricate,
right,
the relationship?
Right, because a friend of mine asked me, said, "Well, is there any chance you'll change your mind about talking about your mom?" I said, "No," and she said, "Well, I'll pray that you will." I said, "Why?" Because if I get up there, y'all ain't gonna want to hear this testimony. It ain't gonna be what you think. So sometimes silence is golden.
Oh, girl, you got me snorting.
I'm just saying.
Oh my God.
This one funeral you don't want me to eulogize. So the best thing to do is for me to, at the very least, to sit quietly in the corner and let it be what it be. But honestly, I, I would be okay with not being there, because there is nothing for me. You go there because of memories you have, and you want to remember the person and the collective bonding and celebration. I don't have any of that. Again, my mom has effectively severed the mother-daughter connection that we have. it is just not there. I don't have that for anymore. So I mean, honestly, I could go no contact with my mom now, and I would be okay. And I feel in many ways it would be a healthier move, just because of the trauma. It's been 10 years of really old wounds and old hurts and things like that. And I promise you, flip the script. If I went before my mom, she wouldn't be going. I promise you she would not be going.
And
No
you know,
doubt.
that's just the reality of it, is that, you know, if they wouldn't do it for you,
Yeah.
you can expect.
And the hard truth is, and I think because we have in many ways the idea that, you know, motherhood is great, and, you know, all mothers just love their children, all children love their mothers, you know, that biological bond should override everything. And the truth of the matter is, some we don't like everybody. And some of the people we don't like, we happen to be related to. And I just happen to be one of the people in the world my mom don't care for, never cared for. That's it. Irrespective of biology, you know? And somebody said, well, do you know why that? Well, that's her story to tell. I don't know why. Right. You know? But that's just the painful truth of my experience. And I think for me, again, I think the healthiest thing for me to do would be to accept that there is no relationship there. That way I'm not always trying to, well, I can make it happen if I do X, if I, you know, and I you know, and that was part of it too. You know, I'm up here, I'm doing this for you, I'm caregiving for you, I'm keeping you in your house, I'm making sure you thrive and all that kind of stuff. And if you ask my mom today, that don't mean a hill of beans. Not one near thing. And because
It's
I
kind of an entitlement. You feel like she has the sense of, yeah, well, she gonna do it anyway. She's supposed to, type of.
Supposed to. She is supposed to, because for her, I am the mother, and and my mom is silent generation, 91 years old. So that is the era of, you are obedient to me, the end. She is that way. My uncles are that way. In fact, my uncle, even in this moment, we were having a discussion, and someone was trying to give him advice, and he said, I'm not taking your advice. And I said, you sure do like to give it, especially to me. And he said, because I see you as a youngin. I said, stop. I'm 60 years old. I'm 2 years from retirement. I have an AARP card. I have 2 children. I'm as grown as you are. I am not a child. But that tells you, at 60, they still see me as 6 and feel like I should be treated accordingly. So I should do all of these things because that's what I should do. There does not have to be a thank you. There does not have to be appreciation. There doesn't have to be respect. It's not, they don't have to have that. Again, you know. So and part of that is generational too, I think, because of what that is their hardcore belief. And so they believe, even though I'm 60, they should still be able to tell me what to do, how to do it, when to do it. They should be able to run me, and I should accept it. You know, kind of thing. So when I buck up against that, my mom, uncles, whoever, and I'm telling them no, because that's the appropriate boundary. What do they call it? Disrespect.
Oh, of course.
You know.
Yeah.
So yeah. So that's whoo,
so since when I first started following you, it was before your father's passing. You were planning on transmitting the care responsibility. What did you say, like October this year or something to that effect?
Yeah, my original plan was to
the original. Okay.
To leave in October, yes.
So with your father's passing, has that date changed? Has it moved up? Is it a little bit later? How is that going?
My role as a caregiver changed because I said this, that if my dad passed before my mom, my role as her day-to-day caregiver would have to end. And it has. So I have an aide She was coming 3 days a week to help. I moved her to 5 days a week. So she took over my role. The day after my dad was being buried, my mom asked the aide to move in. She was going to have me move out. Yes. She was going to move the aide in and move me out of the house and stuff. Yeah. My mom is calculating. She had already told her. She already had asked her, said, yeah, why don't you move in upstairs and stuff. So she already had her plan to move me out. And I went to my mom directly and just said, I could see all the thoughts in your
because the
I
audacity,
can
and
see
I'm
all
trying
the
to be,
thoughts in your head behind that.
I'm still trying to be respectful.
I understand and I
but
appreciate
I'm
it.
like,
but I
you
hear
got
all
some
your
nerve
thoughts.
now.
I hear all your thoughts.
I'm trying. It's hard. It's hard. My face. I'm trying
That
to.
black telepathy. I hear all
Yes,
your
because
thoughts.
how dare you? How?
I'm just saying. I hear it all. It's okay.
Okay, I'm sorry. I'm just trying to be respectful but yeah, it's very much loud up in here. Like,
yeah,
how dare you?
I hear all
and
of it.
she does everything. Okay, go ahead. I'm so sorry.
Yeah, and so that was her plan. But I went to my mom and just said, I see you have a plan. She said, yeah, the young lady will move upstairs. I said, well, are you aware that she has a 12-year-old and an older adult son that will also be coming with her? And my mom was not, oh, no. I said, I didn't think you was bargaining for all of that. So here's how it's going to go. We do not get along. We need to have space apart from each other. So the aide is going to take over my day-to-day roles. I'm not doing that anymore. She'll be the one taking you to the doctor. The hair appointments. She'll be the one making your meals. My role is administrator. I make sure the lights stay on, the bills get paid. That's it. But us, we're done.
Yep.
And she said okay, and she because I was because the end game is my mom wants to stay in her home. So if she wants to do that, this is it.
Yeah, this is what has to happen.
This is what has to happen. And fortunately, it's a 2-family home. So actually, I live upstairs. I have my own unit, my own private interest. So I really don't have to see my mom unless, it's like an emergency or something like that. So I stay up in my unit, my quadrant. She's downstairs in her quadrant. So that's kind of how things have worked out. Then my brother will actually comes and spends more time with her on the weekend and stuff.
Good. That's good. I saw recently you took a trip, and that was the trip to Puerto Rico, right? Yes. Okay. First of all, can I just say, one, you looked doggone good on that trip. I saw you dressed up. I said, I know that's right. I know that's right. But how did that feel? Because I could imagine that I feel like you said in a recent, or not recent video, but videos prior that, you had been wanting to do, you want your life back. Like, you want to be able to travel. I think, and what stuck out to me, you had mentioned that, your parents were able to travel. They didn't have to do any type of caretaking,
Right.
And here you are doing all of this. And 60 is young. You still want to Tootsie Roll and see the world and have a good time. You know what I'm saying? Like, it's about to be summertime, girl. You know what I mean? Right. So how did that feel to be in Puerto Rico, to get a deep breath of fresh air away from, the family situation, from all the crazy responsibilities that's been packed on your shoulders for the past decade, over a decade? Like, how did that feel?
My gosh, it felt amazing because, my time was mine again. I didn't have to think about anybody but me. It was very freeing. I loved it. I had a great time. I met great people. I got to go out. I mean, I had a good time.
I know that's right. I know that's right.
I really did. And at the same time, and I actually dropped a post today, I talked about also getting hit with a wave of depression. And I was there in beautiful Puerto Rico, Bad Bunny land, the vibes, the food and everything. And I got hit with a wave of depression because caregiving has a cumulative effect, right? And it's like, there's the water goes out to sea, and then it comes back like a tsunami at unexpected times. So the depression was how much time I lost. The depression was how much of my life I've given up. The depression was how much sacrifice had been given up and how it did not seem like it was really meaningful. That was part of it. And also that my job as caregiver was not over. Because it was great to be away, but then it's like I have to go back in. It's like having a weekend pass from prison, But you got
and you got to go right back to.
But I got to go right
the jailhouse.
But I did break through it and got back in the moment, enjoyed where I was. But I did have a bit of depression in one of the most beautiful places I could be. And I got over it, but I did have it. But I think it happens to us as caregivers.
It does. It's it's a lot of feelings all at once. It's a lot of suppressed feelings because I think in a way that you're finally able to breathe and get away from all of that, the things that you've had to suppress, to do your job, to, keep a strong stance and just hold it together. Now you're able to relax, but here come all of these emotions and feelings and memories and thoughts of, everything. So I could definitely see I've been through it. So I understand.
Yeah. And fatigue because I work a 40-hour-a-week job. I have for the past 5 years while caregiving. So, there's, all of the
two full-time jobs.
Two full-time jobs, So, yeah, so it's a lot. So the body keeps count. The heart, the mind, the body keeps count. We can stuff things down. We can push it away. We can try to put it on the back burner. But that tsunami rolls back in and brings all of it with us. That's also why it's important for us to take care of our health too, because that gets chewed up in the process as well.
But knowing everything that you know now, knowing everything that you've experienced, would you do it again?
No. Or no, let me say I would do it differently. I would do
How would you do it differently?
I would not have moved in with my folks. I might have moved closer, but not in. Because moving back into their home just recreated that parent-child dynamic, which made it harder to operate because I'm trying to act in their best interest, but they're still seeing me as a kid, and that looped in. And it was traumatic for me and stuff like that. I would not have given up my son's time in high school because I can't ever give back. I've been with them longer than that last little bit of time that I had with my son. I can't ever get it back. I would have never sacrificed that up, so I would have been pushed more my brother on help on that, or would have said, hey, we're going to have to do something differently, set up some kind of way. But yeah, I definitely would not have sacrificed to the depth that I did. So yes, I would have done it, but definitely differently. Okay. With very clear, defined roles. I will do this, but not this, and I'll do it for this specific time.
That's definitely understandable. Definitely understandable. What's something people don't understand about caregiving that you wish that they did?
That we get that just because we get tired, angry, upset, distressed, doesn't mean that we're dishonoring our folks. So there were times where I just say, this really just made me so upset, and I'm just emoting. Well, you're supposed to honor your mother and father. I was like, I am doing things.
They quick to hit.
Girl, quick to hit you with that.
Yeah.
Quick to hit you with that, right? Well, it's such a blessing you still have them. Is it? Well, why don't you take them for a while so you can share the blessing? Well, I want you to be just as blessed as me. Take them for a week.
Let me spread this wealth. I don't want you to miss out on any of this.
On any of it. And just because that we are human, and just because we are biology, that doesn't mean that we don't get tired, we don't get worn out, we don't get upset. And again, there people are also looking at us as if we're still 20 taking care of our parents, and we're not. Some of us have our own health issues, diabetes or heart conditions. Some of us are disabled taking care of our folks. We have our own mental conditions and things like that. And we are aging too along the way. So if we're saying, look, I need help, or this is hard, or this is, I wish people understand that we're having a human experience, and to stop trying to elevate us to this point where we're just supposed to be folk who just are 100% in this compassionate care mode and everything in that, that we're if we're just saying, I'm sick of this, that's not saying, I hate my folks and I'm wishing ill on it. It's just saying, you know what, I'm really tired in this moment. I done cleaned up poop off the floor for the third time this week. I haven't had sleep in 4 nights. I had somebody yell at me, for about this, that, and the other. I'm still here, but I'm just saying this is hard and I'm tired. I would wish folks would just have a listening ear and less of a judgmental spirit.
No, those are facts. Those are absolute facts.
Mm-hmm.
All right. Now, Ms. Bernadette, I have one last question. What does healing look like for you now in this next chapter of your life? You had mentioned you was hit with a wave of depression in Puerto Rico, and that does happen. But what does healing look like for you now?
Healing for me will be one, getting out, ending the dynamic, ending the, getting out of the caregiving life. And I think altogether healing will happen with that. I think healing will happen for me when I wanted in October, I want to take a complete sabbatical away from my job, away from caregiving, where I can do 100% focused me, be as selfish as I can be, love on me, take care of me, eat good with me, maybe date somebody who can be with me.
It's time. It's time. Like, you need to have a good time. You have spent. Look, I'm over here. I'm trying not to yap too much because I'm in my head. I'm like, yes, girl, be outside. You deserve it. Okay, don't let nobody tell you any different.
Exactly.
Have a good time.
Exactly. And I think, and healing also is forgiveness. It's for forgiving, letting go and forgiving those things where I think I might have failed. And also, and being forgiving of my parents too. And that's healing. That's part of the healing process too. And I think I can do that, but I will be able to do that easier when we are away from each other.
Exactly. And in your own time. One of the things I hate is when people rush folks to just forgive them now. Let people decide the time frame on when they truly feel like they've forgiven them, if they feel that they've forgiven them. You know what I mean? I think that's, sometimes we rush these things, and it's like, everything didn't happen quickly. It took time. It took years, some chipping away. So give a person that. Give them time. So.
Yeah, and yes, and people want you to operate in the framework of their comfort level. And I've said this, I wish people would accept me where I'm at as opposed to the place that they want me to be. Those are two different places.
Facts.
And stuff.
Facts. Well, Ms. Bernadette, thank you so much for being here. I want to thank you for your honesty, your vulnerability, and your strength. Okay.
You're welcome. Thank you.
I know that this is going to help a lot of people. It's going to help a lot of folks. I know it's helped me. I've enjoyed our conversation. Let everyone know where they can follow your journey and support you.
The Caregiver Collaborative on TikTok right now. Please come follow, share. And soon and very soon, I'm going to have all the other platforms up. But right now, Caregiver Collaborative on TikTok.
Perfect. Perfect. Go ahead and follow her. She is on an amazing journey, and I'm so proud of you. You did an amazing job. If no one else has told you, you've done an amazing job, and I'm proud of you. Okay.
Thank you. I
More,
appreciate
more
it.
trips to come, hopefully.
More trips to come.
And I want to thank all of you for tuning in to the Scoop with Hershe Sunday After Dark. Don't forget, if you have any questions that you want me to answer anonymously, go ahead and email me at thescoophs@gmail.com with the hashtag AskHershey. And as always, wherever you are tonight, be gentle with your heart. And I'll talk to you soon after dark. Peace.